You can use your current home to support your new home, but you can also use it to generate an income now and in the future. By doing this, it means you can secure your pension pot and you can secure your future. Hi all, I'm Jenny from Your Mortgage Hub, and I'm here to help those starting out or starting over with their mortgage applications by showing you what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to applying for a mortgage. So by not selling your home and deciding to rent it out, it's called the Let to Buy scheme. So this basically helps people to start to build a property portfolio. And recently I had a client who came to me asking me to do this with them. Now I always try to discuss it with lots of clients because it's always an option. And the reason that this client wanted to do it was because they was really concerned that the pension pots, the company pension they was paying into, just would not support their lifestyle when they come to retire. And they just wanted to act on that now and do something about it. So what they want to do is rent out their current home and then buy a new property. As I say, that's called the Let to Buy scheme. And the way it works is we would remortgage your current home. And if we need to raise the funds out of that for the deposit for your new home, we would do that at the same time. And then at the same time, we will then purchase a new property for you to live in. And we have to do it all simultaneously. So you need a really good solicitor, okay, because we have to align everything up. But in essence, it's possible to do that. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of. The first big thing is you are going to pay extra stamp duty. And sometimes, if I'm honest, that can be a killer because of the figures. So you will pay an extra 3% on each of the tiers. So the first £125,000 of any property purchase, there's no stamp duty. But if you've already got a property, which you will have now because you've kept your original one, you're going to pay 3% on that. And then it's an extra 3% on each tier. So it can kind of screw with the figures. You have to leave a minimum of 15% in your current property. So that again means by the time you've paid off your current mortgage, left the 15% and paid the stamp duty, sometimes it means it's not viable to do. And you're going to have extra solicitor fees. So you're going to have your purchase fees, but you're also going to have your remortgage fees. And you may even have 2 lots of broker fees, 2 lots of lender fees. So the fees can start to stack up. So you really need to speak to your mortgage broker early on if this is something that you're looking to do, because we will need to run the figures and make sure it's possible. Now, it's not for everyone because being a landlord comes with a whole different host of responsibilities that you have to do. But actually, it can be a really good way if you are looking to use property to sort of build that portfolio and build that pension pot in the future. So here are 4 things you need to consider if you're looking at the Let to Buy scheme as an option to build up your property portfolio, or your pension pot. Number 1, you are going to pay extra stamp duty. You're going to pay an extra 3% on each of those tiers. So if you're buying at say 240,000, that's 9.5 grand you're going to have to find extra on top of all of those fees and everything else. And that can sometimes put it out of play for you. Once, if you sell that property though within 3 years, you will get a refund of the difference of what you would pay and what you have paid. Number 2, you have to leave at least 15% of equity in the property. So by the time you've paid your mortgage, you've left the 15% in there. Again, there may not be enough money to be able to raise for the deposit of your onward purchase. And unfortunately, some lenders may say to you, because you've got another property in the background, we need a minimum of 15, 20, 25% before we will consider it. We have to look at the affordability. So again, you need to speak to your broker early on so we can run all the figures and make sure it's doable for you. Number 3, you have to pay tax against your earnings. And unfortunately, not everyone is aware of this, but it is an income and therefore you will be charged income tax. And unfortunately, Mr. Taxman is knocking on accidental landlords' doors, asking them to make those payments. So you've got to get it sorted straight away. So if you are looking at doing this, first thing you need to do once you've completed is you need to seek out that really good accountant that's going to make sure that you're tax efficient, but you're doing everything you should be doing in regards to paying tax. Number 4, some lenders are going to reduce your borrowing on your onward purchase, so how much you can borrow for your new property. And the reason for that is they will say, well, you're not It's not proven that that property can be rented out for that. Now, there's ways around this. We can get what's called an ALA letter or equivalent, which is basically going to a local estate agent and saying, this property, how much can we rent this property? They'll write you a letter, and some lenders will say, well, that's okay, we can see that, and we would accept that. Some lenders will purely say, no, absolutely not. It's not rented out, and therefore we're going to use the mortgage as an outgoing, but we're not going to take any of the income into account. So it's really important that when you're looking at doing this scheme, you choose the right lender for your onward purchase and also your current home that you're going to remortgage onto a let to buy. The best person to do that is your mortgage broker. So to recap, the 4 things you really need to consider if you're looking at the let to buy scheme is 1, you're going to pay extra stamp duty, 3% on each tier. Number 2, you need to leave at least a minimum of 15% in your current home to be able to do this. And then you need to make sure the figures are all going to stack up once you've done that. Number 3, you have to pay tax on all of your earnings for that rental property. And number 4, some lenders are going to reduce the borrowing on your new home. So we need to make sure all the figures stack up where we need them to be. So you guys, are you mortgage offer ready? And if you're not, what are you doing to get there? If you want more hints and tips on what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to applying for a mortgage, go check out my page. And I'm going to drop a link in the comments, as always, for that 30-day free trial on a credit file that all 3 major agencies that lenders use will offer you.